Hi, I'm homosexual Bryan Safi.
And I'm feminist Erin Gibson.
And this is Attitudes.
Gender issues.
Other issues.
That's the other stuff we talk about.
And the other stuff. We're talking about other stuff today.
Can you handle it?
As you can tell, I'm giving you a glassy eye.
Ooh.
I just woke up.
Ooh, a doll eye. I love a doll eye.
I'm giving you a doll eye. I'm giving you Victorian doll in Orange County look.
Why Orange County?
Because you remember that was where that lady, there was an older lady in her 80s who had a Victorian doll collection. And so she wanted to give them away because I don't know if she was downsizing or maybe she was going into a mental institution.
They always downsize at that point.
Oh, that's the point where they decide to downsize.
Oh, now we're going to downsize when you've literally collected everything in the earth?
Exactly.
Okay.
So she said, I'm going to drop off a Victorian doll at all the doorsteps in the neighborhood where I know children live. But then it became a local news story of like parents being interviewed scared to death that someone was after their children.
Yes.
Because it'd be like the Victorian doll, which is terrifying, along with the little girl's name on it.
That's upsetting. But I have to say,
really upsetting.
In Canada, that would just be like another Tuesday.
Really? Is that the kind of thing they're doing there?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. Imagine Celine Dion as a country, but in certain parts, less gusto. You know what I mean?
Did you see how fabulous her statement? Of course.
Also, really?
I know, she was like, really? That song? Because for those of you who don't know, at Trump rallies and all this, they're for some reason playing a video of Celine Dion singing "My Heart Will Go On," and she was like,
the theme song from Titanic, a boat that went down,
the most famously sunken ship. Even people who look for it go down. And Celine Dion was put out a statement being like, I don't endorse this person. I don't want them to use this song. And also, really, this song? So good. She's great.
I love it. I have to say, I know I'm not alone in this, have never, and if you had told me as a 19-year-old smoking Marlboro Lights, being a little nasty cum dumpster, if you had told me that I was going to be laying in bed watching clips of a football coach talk about how much he loves queer kids and reproductive rights, and I would cry, and then I would go to bed, I would be like, this future does not exist.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah. You
have been sick. So I wonder if your Tim Windows to the Walls obsession, or as Fox News calls him, the Great Walls of China. I'm wondering if that has influenced your... No, listen, who doesn't have a crush on Tim Walz right now?
Well, here's the thing. If you have a problematic dad, dead or alive,
you can solve all those issues right through that man.
That's daddy issue number 1, 2, and 3. Real. You know what I mean?
For real.
Watching him get choked up about his daughter being born. What kind of... I didn't know these men existed at that age. I didn't know a person like that existed at that age.
No, me neither. Fox
Does
News
that person exist as a 28-year-old? I don't know.
I don't get it. I know. I don't know how someone... listen, I think it helps that he was an educator. I'm not even kidding. I think that
absolutely.
A lot of times people like that are more empathic, even though I absolutely love teachers and have a few choice words for some of mine who really just didn't let me get away with any crap. That's all it really was.
They didn't like a smart ass.
Exactly.
Sergio said, did you hear his award-winning turkey Hotdish recipe? No.
Hotdish. That's the most Midwestern expression I've ever heard.
If you don't know what a hotdish is, it's basically a casserole.
It's a casserole, but they call it a hot dish.
I don't know what's going on. Sergio, if you want to share that recipe, we'll absolutely share with the fans of this show who are just dying for more
mayo
50
in turkey.
Plus.
Does he stuff that turkey just with a full jar of Hellmann's?
Okay, here it is. It's a turkey trot tater tot hot dish.
That sounds about right for what we're talking about.
Fresh green beans, 4 slices of bacon, 1 clove of garlic, 6 tablespoons butter. That's nearly a full stick.
Okay, so far it started so healthy. And
flour,
then just, okay.
2.5 cups whole milk.
Okay.
Half a cup of half and half.
Jeez.
Salt, 3 cups shredded sharp cheddar cheese,
Okay,
1 pound ground turkey, sage, pepper, 1 egg, olive oil, green onions, chopped onions.
Olive oil? Why do recipes call for both olive oil and butter?
I don't know. And then 1 package of tater tots, pre-made tater tots. And you never guess what you do with all that shit. You mix it all together and you stick it in the oven.
Do you think anyone has ever made a homemade tater tot? It seems nearly impossible.
I don't even know how you would do it. How would one go about it? Do you have to have a mold?
I don't know.
I can make a marshmallow or I can make a tater tot. What should I put in this thing?
I am obsessed. I am obsessed with those things from Sur La Table where you're like, who would ever buy this like marshmallow caddy? Yeah,
oh, no.
Exactly. Where it's like the most specific thing in the world.
Hard candy molds? How many cabinets do you have to have in your fucking kitchen to go and seek out a hard candy mold?
Can I be honest with you? Maybe it's because it's 10 in the morning. But even for me, that tater tot Hotdish does not sound good. And I love buttery, delicious things.
What's the temperature right now? And give it to me Fahrenheit and Celsius because I know both now.
Wow. I think the temperature today is probably going to be like 89, 90.
Okay, so like 21, 20. I think, if I'm correct.
Dead wrong, by the way. It's times 2 plus 30, so that it's like 30 Celsius.
30 Celsius is 80?
Is 90.
30 Celsius is 90?
Yes.
Okay, what did you say the temperature was? 83?
Oh, I don't know. I guessed. I said maybe it's 90. Erin, you honestly, you didn't even give me a second to look up the weather. I just guessed. Do you think I just knew what temperature it was?
I'm more concerned with my conversion problems.
I think it's time 2 plus 30. Yeah.
Okay, well, 85 degrees.
So
85 is 29. So you're right. Okay. I was way off.
Either way,
I was way off.
You know what though? You aren't well. Okay? You're not well.
I caught the FLiRT coming back to the States.
Did you flirt with anyone on the plane, at least to get
Everyone.
Right.
What I decided to do was go Vancouver, Seattle to Albuquerque. And that was a mistake. The Seattle airport was so inundated with people in everything you could buy at REI.
Is that the airport they called SeaTac?
Yes.
I hate
Not
that.
one person doing any fashion whatsoever. It was all outdoorsy. It was all Vibram 5 fingers.
Sure. Ugh.
All the Vibram 5 toes. And there was trash all over the carpet. There was trash everywhere.
Oh, man.
There was not a person
And you're
involved.
not talking about like the Inquirer or the Globe. Like it wasn't like tabloids.
Not trash tabloids, no.
Okay,
like physical crumbs. Like it was crummy.
Sure.
Crummo.
Gross.
It was a hard reentry, I have to say.
Yeah.
From Vancouver, that's literally the cleanest airport.
Oh, it's always a slap in the face. I remember one time when I was in Tokyo and I came back, immediately I just saw people hawking loogies into urinals.
Yes.
And I was like, well, I'm back.
What is wrong with us? No wonder I got the FLiRT. We got in one of our American employees in Canada was on a tear about men not washing their hands in the bathroom. And I said, I think that's just America. And all of our crew was like, I wash my hands before every meal. They were offended.
See?
But then you get to the States and you see people straight raw dog and everything. Touching their nose, touching a chair, raw dog in a fucking muffin.
What does that mean? Oh, you mean like just eating it with their hands?
Just eating it with their hands.
Sure.
Raw dog. Everything. There's no hand washing in sight. So no wonder I got the FLiRT.
Of course. No, of course. Well, I'm sorry you have it. Plus, not to mention all that air. Ugh, it sounds awful. Everyone I know has COVID, though.
Everybody has COVID. If you're cool, you've got COVID right now.
Yeah. Meredith Vieira's got it for sure.
Mandy Patinkin's got it. Maid Miriam from Robin Hood. The animated. Yeah.
That sweet fox with those weird medieval You know, remember those hats they
Crowns?
would wear?
Oh,
Yeah,
the ones that have like a
like
a
cardboard
handkerchief
in them. What the fuck?
What is that?
And why does it have
protect
to
your
look
neck?
so bulbous on your head?
It doesn't look regal. It just looks like you couldn't make a decision.
Last night, so I've been reading this book that's terribly boring. I mean,
The one that you talked about last week?
correct.
I'm going to predict you're going to be reading this book until about December 15th.
I got to tell you, I've never gone through a book slower. I'm only just halfway through it.
Does it put you right to bed?
I fall asleep. You know what? You know what I realized? When I read this book, I genuinely at this point have no idea what's going on. I'm really just reading names and dates and battles. No idea what's going on.
You could be reading a library index card.
Anything. And it's so relaxing, I think, because I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Like, and I've
got an old VCR manual I can send your way if you like.
Honestly, that's where I'm at. Like, it's so relaxing to like, and maybe this comes with age, but just to give up on trying to understand it. Like, I'm like, it says like, see the footnote. Honey, I never see the footnote. You're telling me to look at a plate or an index? It's not going to happen. I actually don't care about knowing this.
I do like the phrase. I think I'm going to paraphrase because I don't know. I've forgotten it, but it's something like, I'm at the age where it's just relaxing to give up. Is that what you said?
I just can't learn.
Or to stop knowing?
I can learn things socially and all of this, but in terms of like history, if it starts to get too confusing for me, I'm okay listening to it. I'm okay reading about it. I don't need to absorb it.
Yeah.
I don't need to know what's going on. And
well, because what are you going to be at a party and then you're going to just be like, oh, by the way, in Morocco in 8,000 BC or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. No, honestly, I feel like the most that could happen at this point is if I take a tour of like the Byzantine Empire or the Roman Empire, I would just say when they said something to me, I would be like, oh, I've heard of that person. That's the most that could happen. I've read that person's name before. That's it.
This is familiar.
Exactly. And also I read it under my, that hideous blanket I have.
Yeah. LL Bean.
LL Bean. The
brown and off brown.
It's it's like, sort of tan and blue tan.
Oh, right. I couldn't remember which neutrals were involved.
No, it looks like it looks like a dishcloth for the giant on top of the beanstalk. You understand? Because it's really a big blanket.
Yeah.
I get under that hideous blanket and I read this book and I do my fake. So I put on readers that aren't readers. They're blue light glasses. So they're like a little fuzzy. And I read my book and I eat my popcorn and I have a blast.
I think you need a cabin.
No, I do too, except I'm too scared.
Of?
All that. Well, it's pretty quiet here too. I don't know, Erin. I don't think I could. Do you want to know something true about me? Truly? Yeah. I don't think I can ever live.
Yeah, no more lies, please.
I don't think I can ever live in. I've told you about my name. Oh God, come on, Bryan, get with it. I don't think I could live in like a freestanding house. I'm too scared.
Yeah, I get it.
Too many windows.
Too many windows, too many walls.
Too many opportunities.
Yeah.
So Betsy DeVos, I'm not going to buy your home.
Because she loves windows.
She loves them.
She loves windows. But I would be curious to know, have you tried being out in the woods? I wonder if you'd actually be relaxed.
By myself? Never. But I love, you know me, I love going on like hikes and all of this stuff. And
yes, that's the same thing.
But I can't, no, I don't know that I could do it. I could have done it I'll tell you when I could have done it.
1996 to 1997.
I could have done it then. Or I could have done it around the era of the Salem witch trials.
Yes.
I could have done it then too. But I would have to escape. Because I feel like I don't know this.
You would have had no choice in the matter though. That's not actually, that's like that's a necessary decision.
Burn some men for being witches. And I feel like because I'm gay, they would have been tipped off by that.
Yeah.
You know,
because you would have had one of those crowns with the
I would have had a Maid Miriam. Exactly. Anyway, let's go.
I love this for you. I love you making your condo into cabin vibes.
I would love that.
By the way,
see, that's the thing. I would want a cabin in the middle of a large city, 15 floors up. Do you understand?
You can have cabin vibes in your condo.
That's true. I should turn it into like a little lodge feel.
I think you need to have more cabin stuff in there.
I agree.
I think your LL Bean is, you need to let the LL Bean inside of you out.
That's true. I need a buffalo plaid. I need flannel walls.
I think you do.
Yeah. I need a freestanding stove. I need...
you need a straight O'Keefe and Merritt right up in there.
I need rows of slippers. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Flat hat or whatever those things are. Aren't those things that come over the ears?
Oh, the
like
yeah.
Trucker
They're called
hat.
flap hats? Yeah, I don't know. You seem like you're
I need
the
a
expert.
waffle maker.
Yes.
You know, all those things. Yeah.
I like this for you.
Electric stove.
Flannel sheets. Let me tell you.
Please.
The minute I heard the word that I was going to Canada, I went right on LL Bean's site. I said, I am not prepared, madam. I'm not prepared for this. I said, I know these Airbnb hosts are not going to care about me. Really, when it comes down to it. Because I'm
when it comes
American.
down to your comfort, no. When it comes down to like taking your money and having a roof over your head, fine. Yeah.
Thank you. So you better believe that I had sent to Canada, no address. I just said my name, BC.
BC?
British Columbia.
Oh.
I said, I will take your finest on sale flannel, green, buffalo, plaid sheets, and I will have them delivered. And did it save me? Every day when I would get home to my apartment that had no heating for a long time, I switched places. But I was living on a farm with animals. You remember this time. Mm-hmm. Thank God for the LL Bean flannel sheets. Thank God for those sheets.
They gave you a lot of solace.
It was like crawling into a womb. And I'll go right on the site and I'll say it in the comments.
You might as well. They'll be so stunned if you do that. The people don't talk like that on there.
They do not. They are not down and dirty on that site.
All they ever say on like websites like that is like, it sure isn't what it used to be.
Now, I will say this. I tried to order an LL Bean carryall. You know, the canvas carryall with the flat bottom?
Yeah, of course.
The best one in the world.
Yeah.
I tried to order it with monogramming, but I wanted the monogram to say slut. And they wouldn't let me.
There's no way they would do it. Oh, that's like cake baking shit. They wouldn't do it?
No. So I have to buy one and then have someone chain stitch it on there or something because.
What if you did like S period, L period, U period, T period? Like maybe they would think that.
Oh, that's like, it's like an acronym, but and I was too dumb to know.
Right. Like your name was like Sylvia Louise Uranus Simpson. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they did me a favor. I'm not sure if I should be bringing that to work, but
that's fair.
But I wanted the most conservative looking bag.
Yes, like well, maybe you know what? Maybe Land's End would do it. They seem a little more liberal.
Let me know if anybody's got a hot tip on a canvas bag that looks conservative that I can get monogrammed with the words whore, slut, or bitch.
And do you want to know though? I think Etsy is cheating.
Yeah.
Because what you really want is to get a Land's End or a LL Bean or something like that to do it.
But you need the quality bag.
That's what I mean. You need a like really heavy canvas.
Yeah.
You can throw around. You know what I mean?
You can put all your
test it like wire cutter and like stomp on it all day.
Exactly. You put it in the fucking wash.
Absolutely. You can give it to an elephant and say, will you stomp on this? And then just dump on it. Operation Dumbo Drop style.
That should be on every piece of clothing or any piece of electronics that you buy. This has been tested Operation Dumbo Drop style. And then you know what that means. It's been shit on and stomped on by an elephant.
Exactly.
And it kept on ticking.
Here's something else I want to tell the world. I YouTubed the other day the ending of Free Willy because I really wanted to see the whale jump over that rock. You know what I mean? And go from captivity into freedom.
Was this before or after you stopped reading your book about facts?
This would have been, God, good question. I think this would have been before.
Okay.
And did it move me? Of course, it always does. But I got to tell you, we really were fooled by effects then. It is so not real. That whale doing that, jumping over that boy.
I'm sorry you had to find out this way.
It was a tough moment.
You could see the green screen?
Yeah. And I could see that the whale wasn't actually jumping over that boy. Because, by the way, that probably would have been a liability. I mean, you really can't have an orca.
I don't think that animal wants to do that for a movie, yeah.
Do you know, I read an article by Susan Orlean a long time ago about that orca. So they did end up freeing that Willy. Yeah. Here's Free Willy facts. They did end up freeing that Willy. The process took years and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Because it didn't know how to be in the wild?
Exactly.
Ah.
But I think it's still, well, when this article happened, it was still alive and had actually joined a pod, because that's the other thing. Most pods are like, we're not taking you.
Our
Seats taken.
application process is closed.
It's closed, honey. You have to be in La Familia. You understand? Yeah. And you're not. But it took so long, and they had to ship him to all these different places to like get acclimated and da-da-da. And it cost at the end, it cost hundreds of millions of dollars.
And is he on near Antarctica? Whereabouts is he?
They no longer track him. They were tracking him for a very long time. And then he basically got out of bounds or something. And, but they know that he went with a pod.
That's great.
So I think he's doing, because by the way, he had to learn how to hunt. He had to learn, you know what I mean? Like he had to learn. And that's why you have to be with a pod, because they have to be the ones to show you.
It's nurture, not nature, is what you're saying when you free a Willy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've really got to move on.
No, but do you have any more Free Willy facts for us?
Well, no one expected it to be a hit.
I think that's always, when you do a movie, when you do any piece of art, you go into it for the love of it, not because you think there's going to be commercial success, especially when you're CGIing an animal in captivity jumping over a small boy.
That's right. And the second one I know did not do nearly as well.
Well, how can you recreate that magic?
And the whale's name was Kiko.
Well, I love that.
At the box office, Free Willy debuted the same week as Hocus Pocus.
Oh, well, that's stiff competition.
As odd as it seems that a Halloween kids comedy came out in July.
That's not the... That is weird.
That is very weird.
They tried to bury that too, and they couldn't do it.
As odd as it seems that a Halloween kids comedy came out in July, it's even odder that Free Willy hasn't benefited from the same magical transformation into a cult classic 30 years later.
I think that there's a lot of reasons why.
I do too. As wonderfully witchy as Bet, Kathy, and Sarah were, even their enchanting charisma can't really compete with the expressive power of Kiko. Oh, this is like a fan site.
Oh, so you're putting the acting skills of a fucking orca against God bless, three women? This is some sexism.
Powerhouse comedians.
What's the gender of the person writing this?
Unbelievable.
What's the gender of this person? How can you match the magic of an orca whale? 3 Academy Award winning actresses.
Exactly. Honestly, I don't like any of these.
What fresh hell is this? That's the first thing that comes up on Google. This is the antitrust shit this is what the government needs to be working on. Not whether or not Google has monopolized all the search results, but whether or not this is the problem. This is what the first thing that comes up is. No, I don't think so.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Sorry, I'm in the desert, so I got to moisturize again.
By the way, they even created an animated series after the movie came out called Free Willy, but it only went for 21 episodes and apparently wasn't very good.
21 episodes is a lot of fucking episodes. Don't say only in front of that.
Well, because the animated series usually are like hundreds.
Oh, I guess so.
But you're right. I shouldn't minimize that. The whale was 27 years old. The producers auditioned 23 orcas.
How?
21 of them.
We need to hear you tap. We need to hear what your range is as far as musicality.
21 of them belonged to SeaWorld, who declined the offer to have their orcas in the movie because they didn't like the script's message, which was that these whales should be in captivity. Right?
Cool. Well, they got their comeuppance, didn't they?
Yes. But if you need a good cry,
Just watch the ending of that.
Watch the ending
context.
of Blackfish and the ending of Free Willy out of context.
Out of context.
Anyway, what's going on?
So I have COVID, as we all know.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to Colombo. So we are going to do this new thing we're doing. So I've got plenty of
Honey, we can ride that wave as long as we want.
reactions. We wait till you see the bullshit that we have on that, because it is prime eye candy. Okay.
Okay.
We also have a Vault episode available on our Patreon. It's the story of how we met.
Yes.
And you thought I genuinely wore Hawaiian shirts, but it was a bit for a sketch. I
remember that sketch.
What was it?
It was when we were on like Mon Teams or whatever. You did a sketch where you wore a Hawaiian shirt for something. And I remember it looked like really good on you. And this was before I really knew you.
Yeah.
Like I knew of you and we had met, but this was before we really became friends and worked together and stuff. And I thought like, oh, I wonder if that's like her actual style. It wasn't, I guess.
It wasn't.
No.
And then this new thing we're doing,
yes,
it's going to be out for $10 and over tiers.
And we're on YouTube. If you want to get a sneak peek at our video episodes every week, you can find us on YouTube by just searching Attitudes Pod. There's the Q&A, there's watch parties on Discord, the whole thing.
Should we get into some shoes?
Let's do it.
Okay. Now, Bryan, did you watch the closing ceremonies for the Olympics?
I did.
Okay.
I can't say I watched every minute, but I watched the weird performances of them looking for the rings or whatever with that gold man doing like Goldfinger. And then I watched the passing of the baton to...
Well, that's what I want to talk about.
The thing that started with Karen Bass giving the flag to Tom Cruise.
Yes. So if you didn't see it, I don't know how you haven't, because it's literally like all over news cycles this morning. But
right,
we watched 62-year-old actor, stuntman, Scientology saint Tom Cruise leak.
Who's really looking a lot like Ellen DeGeneres these days.
Well, listen, if nothing else was on display for the passing of batons from Paris to LA, it's how much filler we do.
That's right.
And how, if you want to know one thing about Los Angeles,
Filler
we refuse to age.
That's right.
Refuse. 62-year-old slept from the Stade de France.
Yes.
Stade, I don't know. The stadium.
Stade,
French,
I think. I don't
the
know
French
either.
stadium.
Yeah.
And he did what any 60 plus man would do. He rode his motorcycle through a crowd of people into a plane, flew to LA, and then skydived out of it all, topped off by a little ditty by shirtless Anthony Kiedis, who is also 61, and 52-year-old Snoop Dogg. Now, I know Billie Eilish was there. We need to pretend she wasn't because it doesn't fit the narrative I'm crafting right now.
Fair.
Okay. Let's just say if there are 4 people involved in this, 75% are over 50. Okay.
Fair enough.
In this stunt.
You know that Anthony Kiedis' girlfriend is 19. That's a
Yes, I do.
42-year
I'm going to barf right out of all my holes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay.
No, I do. How do you meet a 19-year-old?
I just got chills. Great
How do you
question.
meet a 19-year-old?
Your daughter, maybe?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I don't have any other. What are you?
Raya? I don't know.
Maybe Raya.
Yeah. Nasty.
But what are you talking to a 19-year-old about? You're a 61-year-old man.
I know. It's really upset. I mean, listen, I'm all for whatever do we want to do.
Not like that.
That one's creepy.
I think 10 years is the max for me.
Yeah. I mean,
because then you're getting into a different generation. It's like, it's barfy. It's also, you get into like teacher student, like,
right.
I'm going to bestow my wisdom on this person and kind of groom them.
That's right.
To be the perfect person you want, because they're young and impressionable.
It's weird, and they're not fully formed, and yeah.
Lowest, okay.
Oh yes, there's a formula for this.
So Sergio, this is also how you do Celsius to Fahrenheit.
That's right.
Lowest you can date is half your age plus 7.
That's right. So yeah, so we could.
Why plus 7?
It's just, I don't know who made that up, but that's like the thing.
So I could date someone
in their 20s still.
No, 45 divided by 2 is 23 plus 7, 30.
No, 20. Yeah, 22 and a half plus 7, not 29 and a half.
But here's the thing. First of all,
you don't want to. That's fine.
First of all, I'm married.
But there's also an enormous difference between 30 and 19. I mean, come on.
61 and 19? This is not what my shoe is about, by the way.
No, I know, but it's so shocking.
And also, like, have we not learned anything from the passing of time that's barfy?
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He lives in a fucking bubble. He lives in the bubble of LA where you can go out and do that shit and nobody says anything. There's nobody in the Red Hot Chili Peppers going, hey man, that's gross.
You want to know something? When they started all,
go ahead.
Yeah, I literally was just going to say, like, when Tom Cruise, the second, Karen Bass, great to see her. Great. The second she gave the flag to Tom Cruise, I was like literally sitting in my place in LA. And I was like, why do I live here?
Oh, the fact that
why am I here? This is actually depressing for me.
When Macron said, do you, LA? I was like, let's not. Let's actually not do that.
No.
But then we did it. So there we are.
Yeah.
I actually think he was doing a nag or something.
Oh, how could you not be?
Do your trashy shit, Los Angeles.
Of course. What do you have there? That's what I was thinking. I was like, we don't have an Arc de Triomphe, obviously. Like, we don't have the Eiffel Tower. We don't really have, we have a sign. We have a giant sign. And I mean, I guess there are, like, we have the observatory and stuff, but, and the beaches, but like, in terms of landmarks, LA is actually, like, it's actually interesting when you live here and people visit. You can come up with things to do, but it's not like in other places where it's a horn of plenty. You understand?
No, it's a porn of plenty is what it is.
That's what it is.
It's a place to be a dirtbag and do fucked up things. And it's kind of socially acceptable. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
You want to take your date out tied up to as a fucking dog on a leash and go to a regular restaurant just like that? Everyone's okay with it.
Do you believe in magic?
Cool.
And do you want it to explode in your face immediately? Come on out here, honey.
Do you want someone to fill your face up like a fucking Goodyear tire? Yeah. That can be yours.
That can be yours. There are Groupons for that now.
What is the worst? What is your base level instinct and like your id? What does your id want to do? That's what you do in LA.
Do you have severe trauma and want to make a career of hiding it from people? Please move out to beautiful Los Angeles.
We need more of you. We really need you. We want you. Damaged person, unwilling to do the work.
Exactly.
Yes. Thank you so much. We welcome our Mulholland Drives to you.
Right.
Our canyons.
Exactly.
It's going to be a shit show. I'm ready for it. The next Olympics, but I do have to say, sure. I was particularly triggered by the display of men fighting time.
Yes.
And going up there and just being like, hey, this is California. What do? We let 61-year-olds jump out of airplanes, and then we have Anthony Kiedis no shirt on.
No, he was wearing like a net shirt.
Oh,
like
I'm sorry.
Like a macrame shirt.
Oh, okay. He had his macrame on.
Now? Yeah.
Okay. And Snoop Dogg, who gets a pass from me.
Always.
Because Dancing with that Horse.
He's hilarious.
Pure joy.
Yes.
At the Olympics. But I don't want to see these men doing this shit. I really don't want to see these men doing this shit because I had been researching all weekend this report that had resurfaced. It was a report from 2023 from the Harvard Business Review. But it's kind of making the rounds again. And they looked at women in the workforce between 40 and 60. And you will be shocked to know that as far as businesses are concerned, when women hit 40, they should be left in the forest to be eaten by bears as they are no longer useful. That's what they think should happen.
That's their final opinion.
Yeah. Amy Deal, Leanne M. Zabinski, and Amber L. Stevenson rounded up 913 powerful women in education, nonprofits, law, and healthcare to say, what's the deal? What's the deal with being older, being middle-aged in the workforce? The deal was gendered age biases. And none of this is going to be shocking to you, but at least they put numbers to it. Men have a prime working age or a sweet spot when it comes to their careers, and it's about 45, 50. could go up into their 60s.
Sure.
That does not exist for women. It's actually the opposite. Where men become more valuable and seen as more knowledgeable as they age, women's credibility is dismissed. And these are the words that they used. They were seen as difficult to manage, which is code for too tired to let the bullshit slide.
And smarter than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also, that they had too much family responsibility. Now, let me tell you something. I got a real rude awakening when I was in Canada for 4 months, because that is a social thing. That is not a one person problem. That is a societal problem. When I tell you, I can't tell you, I don't know if I've said this on the show before, and I can't even believe this is coming out of my mouth. When I saw dads in Canada participating in their families on a level that was so foreign to me, like literally, let me give you an example. You've got a family out and about. A child in the family starts to cry. A man recognizes their child crying and picks the child up. Okay?
He doesn't say like, can you stop?
Or wait and do nothing as if it's not his job while the wife does it. I literally time and time again was like, wait, this guy's participating in his family. There's a disconnect in my mind. And then, of course, the minute I came back to the States, I was introduced to somebody. I watched as his 2 children under 5 started crying, and he just continued talking to me as if nothing was going on. Mm-hmm. And the wife handled everything, and I could barely introduce myself to her. And I was like, this is some fucked up shit. This is happening, and it's just acceptable here. And the fact that these women who are in the sandwich generation, who are taking care of like teenagers and probably aging parents, and that the workplace isn't like, this is actually a social problem, not an individual problem. That's super fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Super fucked. Now, listen, I don't want children. I don't care. But I was like, I was bummed that as Americans, it's kind of just like an acceptable thing.
Right. That parenting is so, the responsibility still falls in a traditional marriage on the wife.
Yes.
Or the mother. Yeah.
Yes. And this obviously I'm just talking cis het shit, but
yeah.
But it bummed me out big time. It bummed me out that I was like, because at first I was like judging these men.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, no, I have a problem. I have a problem in here.
Yes.
In here I have a problem.
Lifelong.
Okay. Not judging them. I just was like,
Surprised. Yeah.
This is a surprising thing. And then I was like, no, this is what they should be doing.
Right.
A lot of these women felt like they were too young for advancements for a long time. And then suddenly too old, like overnight, they just like, it just flipped in the minds of their employers.
There was no like settling period.
No. So there was excuses on both ends on why they couldn't have advancements. All this just screams, fucking keeping people down in the workforce. That's, excuses this way and that. Also that this kind of discrimination is out there just being boldly practiced, like unlike other biases. In this report, they said that committees would say, hiring committees or search committees, I guess that is like a broad term for like HR or
headhunters or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would say out loud that they chose not to hire women in their late 40s because of too much family responsibility and impending menopause. They said it out loud. And then others refused to hire women in their 50s because they have menopause-related issues that could be challenging to manage. Yet these jobs were similarly given to similarly aged men. Saying menopause is a threat to someone who doesn't understand that this is a time that is freed up for women.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that there's not menopausal like factors as far as the change is concerned,
right?
But like, you get a lot of free time that's suddenly available to you. And the fact that these women have been outperforming in so many fields while experiencing endometriosis or labor level period cramps. And they've been thriving and that's all gone. And you're going to say that's a factor in their inability to work. That is just, they just became superhuman.
Like, that's a work ethic. Yeah. I mean, like anyone else try doing that.
They can't try. You can't.
Yeah.
It's just all this shit about like, once your reproductive capabilities are over, it's this unconscious bias that your worth is gone. It's all this shit wrapped up in this. Now, it's illegal thanks to the Age Discrimination and Employment Act of 1967. You can't discriminate against people over 40, but it doesn't stipulate specific gender, because I bet you these companies can probably be like, well, we're in compliance with the ADEA because look at our C-suite. Look at all these silver foxes in here. It doesn't matter that they're dudes.
Right.
You know, There's no distinguishing between.
It's almost more sexist than ageist. I mean, I guess it's a little bit of both, but the ageism doesn't work against the men in these fields.
Exactly. It needs to be like clearly defined that like you can't do this of like anyone who doesn't identify as a cis het white straight man, you know? Like you need that, because otherwise there's people are going to keep doing it and then pointing at these old dudes in the C-suite being like, but we're doing it. I don't understand.
And actually, in terms of working harder and trying harder, let's go back to Tom Cruise for 1 second. Lady Gaga did that shit face first at the Super Bowl when she went down into a stadium. Yeah. So Tom Cruise's, I mean, listen, I'm sure it's difficult, but like that's working hard and trying hard, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if we're going to sit here and applaud men for fucking jumping off of a stadium, which words I don't even care about, but
me neither.
You know what I mean? Why?
Yeah, I do.
Like, let's applaud everybody for doing these things and let's celebrate older people. I'm not just saying that because I'm an older person now. I'm saying it because like I reject this idea that you're invaluable as a human being after a certain age, and you're definitely rejected as if you're identify as a woman. No, I call bullshit.
BS.
And you know why I call bullshit? Because I'm over 40 and I'm hard to manage.
That's right, honey. Well, good luck finding a job, Erin. Oh, actually, Erin, I did.
Oh, that's what I should put on my LL Bean. Hard to manage.
That's exactly. I did mean to have a private conversation. You know what? I'll just do it.
Well,
here.
no. Let's have it publicly.
No. Yeah. I'll just
air it.
I really appreciate all the work you've done here.
Okay.
You've really done a phenomenal job, and you're very pretty.
Okay, I feel like there's a but coming in.
But we do think it's time that
Who's we?
Sorry?
Who's we?
We do. Yeah, thank you. We do think it's time that you enjoy your final years off the air.
Okay.
Do you understand?
You're saying my voice is too old?
Anthony Kiedis' girlfriend happens to be available. And
what's her name?
I was sort of little league. She happens to be available. And so
yeah,
I was thinking that it might be kind of a fresh new venture if she came on and talked about gender issues.
TikTok.
And TikTok, yeah.
Yeah. If she listen, you should read my contract. I own 51% of this company.
Oh, shit. I forgot you got that deal. Never mind, I take it all back.
By the way, that's what women should do when they sign contracts. If they think they're going to be at a company for a while, they should put all these like sneaky things that hit when they're 40. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's the trick to being a woman in America. Be a sneaky slut. That's all you have to do.
And be a slut. There is major progress being made as we speak. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Utah has become the first U.S. state to ban a whole range of books from all the schools in Utah. Isn't that wonderful?
That's
See,
so.
now before we were just
I
having
love it. One at a
districts ban
time.
books.
Mhm.
Exactly. This is sweeping change in one of the 50 glorious states. I have to be honest with you, they really chose wisely too. It was just a small committee of people who said, you know what? Let's not just do this for our district. Let's do this for every district in Utah. Let's get rid of those blasphemous Judy Blume books. And while we're at it, why don't we create our own inside joke and get rid of Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale? Because we would hate for that to be a warning of what's truly happening in this state. That's right, honey. Utah has become the first state to ban 13 books from every school shelf immediately to comply with a new rule that says if a certain title is removed by 3 school districts, it has to be removed across the state.
Cool.
So fucking cool. And
so it's the 3 strikes rule, basically?
Exactly. Or
they need to use
it
it on
could be
themselves.
two school districts. But if it's only 2 school districts, it has to also include 5 charter schools. I don't really get the math here. I don't get any of this, to be honest with you.
They're making it complicated on purpose, I'm sure.
Exactly, I'm sure. But these books do include Forever by Judy Blume, The Handmaid's Tale, another of Margaret Atwood's titles. And one of the people who is a board member and one of the decision makers on this joked, because they said, what do we do with the books we're getting rid of? Because we can't really, it doesn't make sense for us to get rid of them and then donate them when these books are being banned in schools. And so they joked, I don't care if it's shredded or burned. It has to be destroyed one way or another. I can't even believe the way we talk these days. Burning books. As if that isn't the biggest warning sign you could imagine. Banning things, period. Also, by the way.
But like, there are very specific books that are classics about the fucking what happens when you start burning books. And we have, as you know, plenty of history that people may or may not remember based on whether or not the book's interesting.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it depends on what book you read about book burning as to whether or not you actually absorb the information, you know?
Oh, that very true.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Right.
I understand. Because I can't absorb things anymore when I read.
I know.
But other titles include the hit young adult Fallout. You've heard of Fallout. I think they made a movie about it.
Talking about Fallout, the video game?
No, I think there was also a movie called Fallout.
Okay.
I mean, it was a big book title too. Fallout title sequences. That's what came up.
Okay.
Anyway.
Thanks for clearing that up.
You got it. So it's massive sweeping censorship across the state. Also, of course, the guidelines for disposal of books are very vague. Will probably result in what they're saying will be dumpsters full of books, binders full of women that could otherwise be enjoyed by other readers, which is completely true. It's really horrific. It's unbelievable that one of our states completely will just ban books in these schools. It's a terrible sign of things to come unless they're course corrected quickly. Moving on from that.
Do you want to know what the internet psychics are saying about Kamala?
Yeah. I don't know what so far I don't know what this means, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, okay. There's, internet psychics.
I mean, I know the term. I couldn't name one of them, but yes, I know the term.
Well, you know that they exist.
Yeah.
And I love to parlay in the fantasy of my wildest dreams and imagination.
Yeah, of course. It's fun.
Basically that in the Kamala presidency, that she's going to put a stop to all this shit.
Well, she better. I mean, that better be on the table.
Yeah, but she's going to have something's going to go down and she's going to be the law and order president and she's not letting anything slide. And these people are going to, their days are numbered. Now, that's what the internet psychics are saying. I'm not saying don't go vote because we got to go vote, but the internet psychics have spoken.
Do I think there's a more severe burn than the word weird to describe Donald Trump? I do.
But it's working.
I think that's pretty weak sauce. Somehow it's working. And listen, I've long said, like, can we just stop playing nice all the time?
Yeah.
Like, listen, of course, I believe in a very general sense and even in a very personal sense to treat people with respect. Of course, I believe that. But I also believe that when people become domestic horror shows like these people, not to mention international, but people who prey on the weak like this, yeah, we need a Goliath. Or I guess a David would be the equivalent if we're talking Bible. But yeah, fucking sling it back. It's time.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't play nice all the time with people who don't want to play nice.
You can't play nice with people who also are not willing to even come to the table and like have a normal discussion.
Exactly.
You have to teach them, and it's working. Like JD Vance going on CNN being like, "They're calling me names."
Right.
Okay.
Honey, you started it.
You started it.
You started it, and not only that, when we told you to stop it, you wouldn't.
I do love that the Democrats are like, these guys. I do love the attitude of like, these fucking clowns. Not that they're not taking their threat seriously, because they are. If you watch the stump speeches, they are taking them seriously. But that they are doing the only way that
they're
you
tripping them up because they're laughing at them. And
they're laughing. And that's
what we do on
language.
This show. When you laugh at something, it puts you on top of what's trying to keep you down. It just does.
Nothing's going to stop you now.
Exactly. I mean, even in the worst situations, like, it just makes you feel on top of the shit that's getting you down.
Yeah.
It's just true. It just does. Well, speaking of hilarity, do you know Jesse Waters? He is one of the co-hosts of The Five on Fox News. I was not really aware of this person. I'd seen him before. Like, I knew his face because he started as an intern on The O'Reilly Factor when Bill O'Reilly had a show. And then
is he white?
It's Fox News,
is he a brunette?
It's Fox News, Erin.
Okay, I get it. I know who he is.
Yeah, but yes, all of those things. He started as an intern on The O'Reilly Factor and then went into this like Greg Gutfield thing where now he's like a comedian. He started doing like there was like a jaywalking segment on Bill O'Reilly, like a Billy on the street, and this guy would do it. This Jesse Waters guy. But a lot of it ended up, I think, being kind of scripted and fake, and like they would tell people to say dumb shit about politics and stuff that wasn't real. Like they would go after like, quote, liberals, but I think it was all sort of scripted and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, he really let it rip this week. And what he says is part of his like stand-up routine.
Oh, funny. Yeah.
Hilarious. So do you want to hear some of the jokes?
Maybe you should do it in a format that's where stand-up is done, like at the Laugh Factory or
right,
the Improv or one of those places. Fox News is like not the spot, but yeah, I'd love to hear.
So he was on The Five, which is, I think, a morning show. Sort of like The View, I think, except with men and women co-hosting. And he first goes on a, tight 10 about Tim Walz and he and Kamala's debut together in Philadelphia. And he talked about how he interacted with his wife. And he said, "Here's Twitchy Tim on stage." I don't know. I don't even understand what that means. Like
they're like because he gestures a lot.
Okay,
and because he smiles.
Right.
Yeah.
So he thinks the gesturing is suspect, and I think you know where I'm going. Here's Twitchy Tim on stage, waving profusely in a very unsettling manner. Very unsettling. Men should not move this way. It's not the way we move.
They should be swatting their wife's hands away at all times.
Well, right. And so at one point, I guess Tim Walz shakes his wife's hands and he goes, and the handshake is the most telling. This is Walz and his wife shaking hands like business associates. But by the way, they did hug afterward. And then he said, followed by a weird hug. And he said,
what else you got, guys?
This is
really
a lack
scraping the bottom.
This is a lack of testosterone. And then notice the difference of how he hugged his wife versus how he hugged the second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, and he says, now let's compare that. What's going on here? This hug is not the way you hug your wife. You hug your wife from the body. You don't hug like this, different than he hugged Doug. So I guess he hugged Doug with, quote, from the body, but hugged his wife like a business associate.
A wife must be hugged from the body, or else the wife will not know the hug is happening.
He went on to say, I don't see why any man would vote Democrat. It's not the party of virtue, blah, blah, blah. It's definitely, and to be a man, this is what became controversial, which it was a desperate attempt as a joke. And to be a man and then vote for a woman just because she's a woman is either childish,
what,
or that person has mommy issues, or they're just trying to be accepted by other women. And I heard the scientists say the other day that when a man votes,
I heard the scientists say the other day, and
so
folks,
true.
this is real. Folks, this is real. Okay.
I heard scientists say the other day. No, excuse me. I heard the scientists say the other day that when a man votes for a woman, he actually transitions into a woman.
Great joke.
Never thought I'd say this. Thank God Jeanine Pirro was there. Because she said, many men have voted for me and they didn't transition into women. First of all,
what did Jeanine Pirro run for?
I guess when she was a judge. I mean, yeah.
Right. This is not the defense anybody wants.
And it's also so insane. Like when he says things like, if a man votes for a woman, then he's childish, has mommy issues, or trying to be accepted by other women. Half of the people on the 5 are women. And what could be more dehumanizing than to watch women laugh and nod their heads at this?
Oh, well, that's
how much do
the internalized
you have
misogyny.
To betray yourself to do something like that?
And that Jeanine is the one, Miss, I put my high heels in a refrigerator. Who's defending you?
It's so pathetic. It really is so pathetic. And I wonder if this message reaches people. Like, do you think this reaches men watching Fox News who think like, he's right? Like, I wonder if this does go to people's worst instincts, or if even people watching
but they're already
like,
watching it. So they already feel that way.
Dude. You're right.
They already feel that way. It's a fucking circle jerk of dumb ideas.
This guy's such a clown, and not in the way he wants to be.
No, there's nothing funny about, I mean, as a person who's done stand-up, as have you, the number one thing about jokes, and people don't realize this, is they have to be funny.
First rule
number
is
one,
funny and relatable.
Yeah. If you're just lobbing mean shit out there. Also, comedians should be up in arms that this man dares to call himself a joke writer just because he got in trouble.
And by the way,
don't hide behind jokes.
Sergio reminded me, he, not in the distant past, pretty recently had a tarot card reader on to ask about the election.
What is that?
I mean, I do recognize that I'm at Fox TV. I am a sense of loss. But it's very specific. No, let me move on. It's a sense of loss. It's as if he may be thinking more about what he's lost and not still taking full advantage of what he still has.
The fuck?
That's a great interpretation, Paula.
Clown.
Good.
And by the way, are people watching Fox News on board with tarot card readers?
What does
the religious right even become? Live by the sword and die by the sword, babies. You're not allowed to do those things, remember?
You can't have these witches on here.
No. Anyway, hilarious.
Well, I hope he keeps going with his jokes.
Oh, me too. He's hysterical.
What are these people going to do if the internet psychics are right and none of this shit's legal to do anymore? Sling shit like this.
Nobody cares. Really, they are like, I mean, truly, all they just have to do is keep talking and people will keep listening.
Yeah. Until those people, what is their base? Do you know the age group of their? I mean, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, it's older. It definitely skews older. Who young would watch that? I mean, even for the graphics alone, I don't think anyone young even watches cable TV anymore.
No.
Yeah.
The graphics. Oh, Sergio's dad. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, my parents. Let's be honest.
We got some reviews.
We did.
As usual, go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and pop a little review on. This is from Addie B! 5 stars. Favorite podcast ever. You'll feel all the emotions listening to this show, but mostly joy and delight. I've been a listener for years, and at this point, I feel I'm officially in a parasocial throuple with Erin and Bryan.
You are, baby.
Adore these amazing humans. What else? Where else will you get breaking political news along with George Michael's lasagna recipe? I don't know if anybody's made it. Have you heard?
I haven't heard back if anyone's tried this yet, but if anyone does make it, I would love to hear the results. Pam Prim, 5 stars. Thank you. You guys are the best. I look forward to catching up with both of you each week. Stay well and don't die before I do. Big hugs.
Deal.
Thanks for the well wishes.
Andy Nuke 76 says, continues to be a threat to your health. In 2013, I had to stop listening to TS, which is the former name of the show, at the gym because I dropped free weights when I started laughing too hard. And the same thing happened listening to Attitudes while working out this week. Consistently, dangerously funny. Please be
why
careful
don't you take those
gym.
Consumer Reports vitamins then, if you want to stay healthy? You understand?
You've got to. Brian, do you have another one for us next week? Are we going to get one?
Well, apparently I thought it was a weekly publication. It's a monthly. So I have to
you got to wait for a new one to show up in your garage.
But you know what I could do? What I could do is I could get an online subscription and go to the back catalog.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You know what I mean? Maybe I'll do that.
Get the PDFs.
Okay. Exactly. The PDFs. Monthly PDFs. Go to patreon.com/attitudes. We're about to record that this new thing we're doing where we watch these silly videos and comment on them. And yeah, we'll see you soon. What's our new phrase?
Good. Your guess is as good as mine.
I don't remember. Bye.